Hello Internet, your friendly neighborhood gremlin here, and today we're going to give Olaf a place to spend a night under the stars. So, mostly just camping, and then the inside is low-key just a cabin, I guess, in case he doesn't want to actually sleep under the stars. Maybe we should have put the bed outside. I don't know. Let me know if you think that was a good idea, or if this sort of camping thing that I've done is better. I don't know. Sometimes these ideas just come to me. It's a little bit too late to change it now, though. Though I do feel like I've been doing more sort of like outside-centric builds lately. Everyone has started outside. Well, I guess Julian was inside first, wasn't it? But most of them have been sort of like outside-centric. So here we are trying to just build up some trees. And now we're just going to like pull out some things I think are going to be good for the build. So we're going to get the telescope, which took me forever to find because I'm dumb and I don't know where things are. And like the tent. Oh, we consider a birdhouse, but then we change our mind. So we do get ourselves a black tent though, because tents are important if you're sleeping under the stars. Maybe. I don't know. I guess if you're actually under the stars, you wouldn't be in a tent. But Animal Crossing doesn't have sleeping bags, or at least I don't have sleeping bags in Animal Crossing. And then I thought somehow for the atmosphere, adding statues would sort of make it more eerie. I'm not sure that eerie is exactly what he wanted, but later when I add a skeleton, the dude gets real excited. So I do think eerie was maybe what he was going for. Yeah, essentially the house isn't that exciting. It's pretty much just black all over. Though we did struggle a little bit with trying to find the right shade of black, because apparently Animal Crossing doesn't want anything to be easy. But that's okay. We get there, and it's dark. I think I used a purple door too, so because I gave up on the black. Here we are going to try this as a rug. We're going to change our mind afterwards. Yeah, I didn't like the way that pattern looked when it was all like sort of sitting side by side, but we changed our mind about this as well because I didn't want to move the tree, and I hate the way it looks when you can't have the fringe under the tree. I mean, it makes logical sense the fringe wouldn't be under the tree, but still. So now we're going to try and use this tiny one, which is what we settle on because I like the layered look of it, but I also don't have very many design spaces. Like, there are more that you can get that sort of do the layered thing, but they're bigger and I don't have any space for them. And they do the ones that you can put on, like, in the inside that'll look like edges around your rugs, but rugs don't go outside in Animal Crossing. So that wouldn't solve this problem. Yeah, so now we struggle with seats around the fireplace again, because, I don't know, they just look weird. I struggle with that a lot, apparently. And we change our mind about the chair and go with the couch, because when you put two chairs side by side and they both have to sit in exactly the same direction, it looks a little weird. I don't know, I guess if we're around the campfire, maybe we should talk about urban legends. Do you guys have any urban legends that you really enjoy, or a favorite? Let me know. I don't know that I do have a favorite. I think the hook is the one that gave me the most stress as a child. And I don't know, some people associate anxiety and fear. I don't think they're the same thing. I guess we could talk about one of the greatest television shows on earth, which I say totally because of child nostalgia goggles. But if you were a kid or watching kids shows in the 90s in Canada, you may remember Freaky Stories. If you do, let me know, because, it was great. It was essentially just like animated urban legends, and cut in between were these little like skits by a beetle and a worm who lived in a diner. Sounds weird when you say it. Probably is weird to anybody who doesn't remember growing up with it, to be perfectly honest with you. But, oh god, it was great. So we've managed to skip most of my kerfuddle about the candles because I was very insistent for some reason that there be candles. I don't know why. And I tried to put way too many things on the mat because that's how I roll. So the cushions end up not on the mat. And then we've got a book because I don't know why. Because I just put books places. And now we're moving the statue again because I didn't like where it was. So it's going to go sit in the back on the edge there, which is nice because you can just like kind of see it. So, I mean, I didn't want them to be the focal point. I just kind of wanted some like statues in the background for eerie effect. We're going to finish the outside afterwards because I cannot for the life of me manage to successfully finish an outside before we do the inside. It's a problem. Though I guess mostly it's just that I see things that I didn't see the first time around that I want to put outside. So then we go and put those things outside or inside. Either way, I usually end up having to fix the one I did first. So that'll be coming along shortly. Now we're going to try and figure out what kind of walls we want, which is going to be a struggle. We end up with the chic tea room wall, which I do quite like. It's actually the wall I have in my bedroom in my Animal Crossing house because it is super cute. Though we're going to have to ditch the windows later because they mess with the design too much. Quite frankly, I could have ditched them here while I'm trying to build the bathroom because it needs to be big enough to fit that giant-ass tub that he wants. But conveniently, the tub comes in black, so I guess it's not all that, though. The toilet doesn't come in black, unless you use the one that doesn't look like a toilet, which I realize in real life is perfectly fine, but in Animal Crossing I think it looks really weird to use that one, even though it comes in black, so I just always use this one, because it is the only one that looks like a toilet. And now we're just kind of generally filling out the bathroom. It's not particularly impressive or anything. It's literally just a toilet, a sink, and a tub. Oh, and a Monstera plant. So, that makes it special, right? And we're just going to use the same one as yesterday. But this time we make it black. So, totally different couch. Not at all the same. The living room ends up kind of weird, I would say. Mostly just, I think, because it was too long of a space to do what I usually do because of the window, which we're going to delete in a minute anyway because it's not going to work with the bookshelves. And for a hot minute, we're thinking we're going to put a desk there, which I think, in theory, would have been really cute. There just wasn't really enough space for it, and I didn't want to have to try and build a kitchen, so he gets a desk space on the other side and just doesn't get a kitchen. He can cook on the campfire outside. It's fine. He'll do all right. I promise. It'll take some fiddling to get right, but in the end, it's all right. You let me know how much you hate it, because I appreciate it, really. And now we spend way too much time trying to get this partition thing to work. We end up using the 3 because it's 3, and then it looks really high, that close to the couch. I've never noticed that before. Is this couch just lower than the other couches, or have I been blind to it entirely? Though I suppose you probably know that if you were watching all of the videos or whatever and had seen the glowing moss thing, because quite frankly, it had been there for several videos and I just didn't notice. I'm not exactly the most observant of humans. But the living room's coming together quite nicely, and now we're going to move ourselves over to the office area. Here we are turning the desk 6 times because we don't know where we want it to go, I guess. Now while finding the perfect office chair, we get distracted and pull up the butterfly chair, which will go back in the living room later. The chair saga was a bit of a saga because the wrench chair's dark wood is not dark enough to be dark wood. So we try the antique one for a minute. We're not going to like it. In the middle of chair saga, we put a divider in between us and the bedroom. It just adds a little bit more visual interest to the space. And we have now successfully settled on the antique chair because it is black. And now we're going to put the obligatory window in because it is everywhere all the time. Let me know if you want me to cut repetitive tasks like that out or if you'd rather watch them. And we've gone back to the living room because I did most of the bigger furniture before I pulled myself into miscellaneous. So now we're going to move on to the miscellaneous things, and I'm going to spin the room entirely too much. Mostly just me being extremely indecisive, because as much as I do feel like the outside of this build turned out very well, the inside is not my favorite. Which seems weird because this build should have been easier because it's exactly in my comfort zone, and yet for some reason it's not great. So we give our man Olaf a typewriter, and though you can't hear it, he got well excited about it. And we have now moved ourselves back to trying to find a bedside table for our bed. I do end up with the velvet stool, which I'm not sure totally works because there isn't really a lot of color in here, but I guess there's red in the books on the bookshelf because I couldn't make them a different color. And now we're going to test wardrobes. We do pull out the one we used yesterday and decide against it because, again, we used it yesterday. Also, I kind of wanted it to be thinner so it could fit right there in between the bedroom and the bathroom. I thought that would have been cute, but it doesn't fit, so we use the antique dresser because apparently all of our things are antique. Really mostly just because they all come in the same shade of black. Now we're just gonna find some more miscellaneous things that we can shove in there. We tried to get a coffee cup, but the one mug doesn't come with what looks like coffee in it because it's so nearly white, and then the other one just felt too fancy and bright. And now we're gonna put in some more books because I think if he likes typewriters, he probably also likes to read. Do you think Olaf is a writer? What kind of books do you think he reads? Here I'm gonna try to spend way too long trying to put bugs in here because I just want to put bugs somewhere and they're always too big and they never fit. Somewhere, someday, I will get bugs to fit. Not here, unfortunately. Though we do get the banker's lamp to work successfully, of which I'm rather proud because that's not a thing that happens often. Though I suppose successfully is debatable. And we're going to give him a copper alarm clock to go on his bedside table. And now we're going to put some stuff on the walls. Starting, of course, with bathroom appliances, also copper colored. As someone in real life who mixes metals constantly, for some reason in Animal Crossing I'm really on to getting them to match. If possible, I suppose. If you can't do it, then, I mean, it doesn't bother me. I think maybe it's just because I know it bothers other people when metals don't match. Explain this to me, because I do not understand why people are against wearing gold and silver at the same time. So now I get to struggle through putting paintings up, and we don't end up with that many stuff on the walls. And we're going to try desperately again to get this grasshopper head to fit, because I just like it, okay? Apparently, I make it fit, even though it's bright green and doesn't really fit. In fact, I still think it doesn't really fit. I also think it stays there, so sorry about that. And now we're going to do the back wall. And I know the astronomy poster doesn't fit. It just has an extremely wide margin around it for some unexplainable reason. I really wish we had more of these embroidery patterns because I love them, and there's only so many, and mostly they don't really go everywhere. And now we're going to put in an antique phone, which is huge. I definitely thought it was smaller when I placed it down, and then was surprised by how big it was, but also really wanted it, so we keep it. And now we need to try to put a bunch of things on the back wall, and it's not going to work. So we're going to end up with literally like the embroidery hoop and some dried flowers. But I do put the moon painting over by the chairs in the living room, and I think it looks nice there. Do let me know, if you've made it this far in the video, how much of the struggle you actually want to see. Like, should I have cut most of this out, or do you like it? I know that I like it in other people's videos, but that could just be a me thing and everyone else is just like, please stop. Or maybe you just want me to make shorter videos instead of longer videos, because after a while you're just sick of listening to me talk. Or just don't like to watch the process of builds. I guess you wouldn't be this far into the video if you didn't like to watch process of speed builds. So we do add the moon poster there on the wall, and then we're going to try the drapery thing again, which if the wall had been slightly more to the left or right, I don't know. When looking this way, it's left. But had it moved just slightly, I could have fit two in there, and I think I would have used them. But they don't fit two, and it was very upsetting. We really don't end up with very many things on the ceiling. I'm pretty sure we just end up with the two lamps there. I struggle to put in ceiling lamps because I feel like I don't know where I'm supposed to put them, because where they might look good from the top is totally not where they would be useful on the ground. And then instead of putting a lamp on the side table in the living room, I just put an open book. Maybe it was not my greatest decision, but it was a decision that I made. Now we're going to add the skeletons. I did cut a lot of this out, or tried to, but I wanted to make sure the edits were as clean as possible, just because, again, this video is really long. I don't know how it turned out so long, but it ends up really long. But we give ourselves a cassette player so he can listen to music outside if he's the kind of guy who listens to music outside. And now we're going to struggle to try and put something in this little space because I feel like there needs to be something, apparently. It does take me a long time to find the skeletons, and then I decide just casually to use them. But he gets real excited. First we have to try the tall lantern because this is a more reasonable object to put in a hole there. Mostly I just really wish there wasn't a hole there and the house was slightly larger or the cliff was slightly smaller, but we work with what we're given in Animal Crossing because there isn't another option. So now we're gonna cut the struggle and put some skeletons there. Are you the kind of person who puts skeletons places when you don't know what to do? Maybe that's not the kind of person I should come to being. But here comes the reveal. where we just sort of watch him look at it. Again, let me know if you want these. I keep saying it just because no one has commented and let me know. We actually cut out the photographs because it was really long, so you just get to see the outfits because I like dressing me up and somehow I feel like you should have to also see it. But this here is going to be the end of our video. So like, comment, and subscribe, and I'll see y'all tomorrow. Goodbye!